101.5 FM.
Sri Lanka have entered the final of the Micromax Tri-Nation ODI cricket series. In a must-win game at Dambola yesterday, they beat India by 8 wickets. And that is the end of this news bulletin.
We come here every day. This small mosque belongs to my friend. People come here to worship and then they drink tea here. His tea really tastes good. We are coming here since last 35 years. He is here since last 20 years. His brother Salim also has his tea stall nearby, but he has more customers.
I use tea leaves, sugar, milk and water to prepare my chai, and I also add cardamom powder. There is no alternative to chai. I only drink chai. Everyone drinks tea, and it's a part of my life now. If I don't drink tea, then I feel as if something is missing in my life. And I feel lethargic.
पिएंगे तो एक खालीपन सा रहता है, हर एक को थकान सी रहती है, फिर मन में भी रहता है कि यार आज कुछ मिसिंग है लाइफ में, something is missing from life.
I'm selling between 150 and 250 chais every day. There are also people who can't afford to buy their own tea, so they share their tea with someone else.
जिसके पास मतलब पैसे नहीं होते चाय के पूरे भी या दो आदमी है तो वो एक चाय ले लेते हैं उसमें से 50-50 कर लेते हैं हाँ तो उसका जो एवरेज है वो सिंगल में और डबल में हमारा बनता है।
Many students are coming to my stall, but also working people and people from the media.
सारे आते हैं मेरे पास।
Many people come here, also people like Indian administrative officers, and I'm not able to recognize them. Anybody who drinks chai at my stall once becomes my permanent customer. I'm working as a chaiwala since 18 years, and if I'm absent for one day, my customers face big problems.
हर क्लास चाय पीती है? हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, इस गोल चक्कर के ऊपर अगर कोई भी बंदा इधर नया आ गया है और उसने मेरे यहाँ चाय पी ली है तो मेरे को पता है कि वो ज़रूर मेरे पास है।
आपका परमानेंट कस्टमर बन जाता है।
क्योंकि 17-18 साल से ना काफ़ी कस्टमर मेरे ऐसे बन चुके हैं कि अगर मैं एक दिन दुकान बंद कर दूँ तो दूसरे दिन मेरे कस्टमरों की बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है।
अच्छा ऐसे है।
I need at least 2 cups a day.
लाइफ स्पेंड कर सकते
नहीं,
हैं चाय के।
दो कप तो पीनी है दिन में।
आपको भी ऐसा लगता है कि
No, whether it's lower, middle, or higher class, everybody's drinking tea. There's a shop called Jain Daba nearby where you can get chai for 10 rupees, and there one can see all the classes and castes drinking chai together.
आदमी वहाँ चाय पीते हैं।
और ऐसे चाय मतलब सस्ती पड़ती है।
Money doesn't matter. Whether it's cheap or costly, one has to drink chai. I drink 5 to 7 chais a day and spend about 35 rupees a day.
5 रुपीज़ का दिन में 5 बार 25-30 रुपीज़ आप चाय पे स्पेंड कर देते हैं।
कितने पैसे हो गए भैया?
तब क्या होगा अगर आप बिल्कुल चाय पीना बंद कर दे तो?
No, I can't stop drinking chai from one day to the other. Otherwise, I would get a big headache.
आपके साथ आपको
सर दर्द पकड़ ले।
वो आ रहा है उसको बोल।
For others, I don't know, but I can't survive without it. If I don't find it in the whole day, I just walk around in the streets like.
I mean,
in
it's
the evening.
necessary for you.
Yeah, necessary for me.
Tea is my habit and it's my friend. I drink it while I'm studying. Some people drink it strong, some with milk or some without milk. But the method is the same everywhere in India since ancient times.
कॉन्सेप्ट एक ही है पूरे इंडिया में चाय का, टी का, जो आज से नहीं फ्रॉम इंडिपेंडेंस आ रहा है, एंशिएंट टाइम से आ रहा है। ऑल्टरनेटिव से तो मैं जाऊँगा गर्म पानी ही पीऊँगा ऐसे।
I get tired, therefore I need tea in the morning and in the evening. It's a habit, and it also makes me feel energetic. Me and my friends, we do come here in the morning and in the evening to have a chat. All kind of people come to this tea stall. In the morning, mostly working people visit this tea stall, and in the evening, mostly upper class people come here.
आते हैं चाय पीने यहाँ पे, बड़े लोग भी आते हैं शाम में यहाँ पे, शाम में बड़े लोग ज़्यादा आते हैं, सुबह में अपना जो काम करने वाले बंदे वो भी चाय पीते हैं यहाँ पे आकर.
I have tried to survive a day without chai, but I have to have one chai, at least in the morning, and if not in the morning, then in the evening. This shop exists since 1918. I began to work here in 1996. Before that, my father and my uncle were managing this tea shop. This is my family business. Earlier, we used to sell only two brands, Lipton and Brooke Bond. And now we sell Lipton, Brooke Bond, Tata, Twinings, Typho and Bagh Bakri.
वो है अब वाघ बकरी है, कई आ गए हैं अब ब्रांड.
I come from a little village. There, the milk is better than in Delhi, and therefore the chai is also much better. We drink chai since 10 years. I drink 30 to 35 cups of chai every day.
20-25 per day.
Everyone drinks chai in India, especially when one has got nothing to do. Not offering tea to a guest in India is a sin. Somebody asks for tea in the morning, somebody asks for tea in the afternoon, somebody asks for tea in the evening. I serve 30 to 40 cups a day.
Chai is very important for me in my daily life. My day starts with it. I cannot think of my day without a cup of tea.
And could you survive or enjoy a day without chai?
No, never. In the morning, otherwise I can't wake up. I feel sleepy till the time I don't take a cup of tea. I go to chai walas to have tea, sometimes during lunch break, because the office tea is of course with the tea bag. Sometimes you need the tea where it is cooked. It is boiled and boiled and boiled a lot many times so that you get the real flavor of tea.
चाय पीनी आपको अच्छी लगती है? तेरे को कैसे लगती है चाय पीनी?
It's basically just when you have a break, you get out, you want to feel fresh. You either have a Coke or you have a tea, or you have a chai. Chai means getting to college at 8:30 in the morning and then starting your day with tea. Chai means coming out of college in every break and having a smoke and a tea with that. So chai is basically part of a daily routine. You wake up, you have tea to feel fresh. And in the evening you're feeling a little heavy headed or a headache or anything, tea is the savior.
Chai is basically a startup for a day, for Indian people especially.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I never drink tea actually. Because it's very rarely when I get nothing else to drink, that's when I drink tea. Chai rather.
I cannot survive, I cannot spend my entire day without chai.
Chai is very important, especially when I'm not well. There is no day when I don't drink chai twice or thrice. Chai is very important.
Oh, this tea shop exists since 1954, so which is like 56 years almost, and I can say that for the last 35 years the business has been more focused on quality teas, and earlier it was all kinds of teas which are consumed in India. Among the Indians there is definitely a better awareness about the quality of tea. So apparently, you rightly said, those people who are more aware about tea, they are coming to our shop. As far as the foreigners are concerned, that's a smaller percentage who are diplomats, expats stationed here. I am particularly talking about the Indian population, and those Indians who even at an early age of maybe 25 years are getting to know that tea is good for them, and because they do not add much other ingredients like milk, sugar, lemon, they are able to find out about the quality of tea much easily as compared to what was happening maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I think we can answer that in three parts. A, you must look back at our culture. Indians have always been very fond of milk. They try to use milk in their food. They eat a lot of curd or yogurt in the summers. Another big factor is the economics. The price of this tea along with milk, sugar and the fuel that is consumed on the roadside is probably minimal. So it's still the least expensive beverage that is available to the common man in India, or let's say in Delhi. And lastly, I think the people's bodies, they get used to that amount of tannin and caffeine, and I know for sure that there are people who need this kind of chai tea first thing in the morning, because that's the only way they can ease themselves. They can clean their bowels by having this early morning chai tea. Oh yes, I would, because if I'm on a road trip and if I find that there's a chai wala where there's some place to sit and I'm tired, I would definitely take a break, have some chai with a little snack. It's usually the pakoras. The Indian pakoras are very popular with chai. I think that would be a filling and a safe thing to have. I think you can call it an addiction, or you can call it like a habit forming. It could be a mild addiction of sorts. I think it becomes a necessity. I don't know if you can call it an addiction, but almost a necessity in our daily lives.
I don't think the chai walas on the street have any sort of threat, also because the chai walas in fact have like a broader clientele that they service. Everyone from the rickshaw walas to even like the office guys in these tall skyscraper type buildings. They'll during their lunch breaks or whatever, they will come down to the chai wala. I think it's more of like a social thing. It's like a meeting place thing.
I come here once a day. There's a double purpose why I come here, or there may be even a triple purpose, you can say. I drink tea, meet my friends and enjoy the ambience as well.
दोस्तों से बातें भी करते हैं और इधर-उधर का एनवायरनमेंट भी एंजॉय करते हैं। हाँ, एम्बियंस अच्छा है।
This shop exists here since last 17 to 18 years. Earlier, my husband used to manage this shop, but after he died, I had to take over unwillingly. My son is also working, but his earnings are not sufficient.
लड़के की कमाई से क्या हो रहा है, तो मैंने कहा चलो आज ही नहीं है मेरा, तो मैं बना।
I start early morning, about 4 o'clock, because people from Punjab visit this Sikh temple.
Everyone drinks tea. Rich or poor people, everyone drinks chai. I'm drinking chai since the last 16 years. I drink 8 to 10 chais every day. People with luxury cars also visit this tea stall while they're taking petrol. I prefer chai to coffee because coffee costs almost double the price. One coffee costs 10 rupees and I can't afford to spend between 100 to 150 rupees for coffee per day. Chai costs 5 rupees, though it is also not cheap. We are born with the teacups in our hands. In our village, we only drink coffee when our blood pressure is low. If you would take away chai from our life, it would be a big problem. I can survive without food, but not without chai. It does not matter if I'm working in my fields or driving my tractor, I get my homemade chai anywhere.
मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्ष मंगलाय तनोहरि मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्ष मंगलाय तनोहरि.
And my day starts with the bed tea only. Without bed tea, I can't get up. And in winters, because this is a hill station, and we need to have this tea, and for working in working place also, just to for a change and just for a rest also. We will get fresh after tea.
Tea, we wake up in the morning having tea only, and then it's very refreshing. See, in the morning, she likes to sleep. So then
now it is
so I give her bed tea. So then I make the tea for us.
Tea, well, I'm really not very much of a tea drinker. I have tea, I think, just once a day.
Chai in daily life would just mean, it's your motive to wake up, I think, or like at least something to wake up with in the morning. Like for me, everyone talks about green tea and how it's so good for you, but I like my chai with my masala chai with a bit of adrak and a bit of like elaichi, cardamom, because that kind of adds a little flavor to the tea. And then in the process of reading my newspaper, I end up having at least 2-3 cups of tea. So then that is an average. I wouldn't say it's an addiction. I haven't tried a day without tea, so I can't really say, but so far so good.
I think the people with less economic means would perhaps drink tea in a different way. They would maybe have it in a glass. Maybe they would have ready-made tea, whereas if you are from a more wealthy background, then I think tea is made at your home and you drink it the way you want it. You can have tea with just tea and hot water. You can have tea with milk and sugar, or you can have tea maybe with just tea and sugar and no milk at all. But yes, I think there is a difference between the different classes as to how they drink their tea.
The way the common man or a simple man will have his tea, he's not really interested in how it's served to him, but as you keep climbing your social graces tend to change. Of course, there's a little more drama added to every step of your tea, because once you reach the higher echelons, then it's, for example, somebody might want to serve their tea in special cups. There's types and types of china to serve your tea. That becomes a little element of style. And of course, is the kind of silver you'd use. And along with the savories and breads and the pastries that come, there's different forks and spoons and knives. So it actually becomes like a huge, it just becomes like a huge display in itself.
When I was a boy, maybe about 50 years ago, the English had left this country in 1947. So I would talk to you maybe after about 10 years later, say 1956, 57, to maybe in the early 60s. Tea was a big function. I mean, you sat with your family and you had tea and you had cucumber sandwiches and you had some pastries. And if you wanted to entertain you in those days, you didn't call people for drinks. You called people either for a high tea or then you called them for drinks and dinner. And today, of course, even if I'm alone, I'll maybe still have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. But that concept of a high tea is only if you have some guests and you don't want to call them for drinks. So then you maybe have a high tea, say between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. I think my parents drank a lot more tea. They would have tea, I think, at least 4 or 5 times a day.
But maximum you have had 20 cups of tea during your political campaign.
But that's different. Different because when you contest an election, it is in India considered very hospitable to have tea. So if you go to a village where you are to give some election speech, so after the function is over, you have to have tea, otherwise the people will be very offended if you do not have tea. So during this election I may have had, it was never served in cups, it was always served in glasses. So maybe I had as many as 20 to 25 glasses in one day.
I drink chai to keep myself active. I also feel energetic after having a chai.
मैं शरीर को जागरूकता करने के लिए थप एनर्जी के लिए पीने की एक चीज़ है चाय.
While traveling, I have to stay in my tent, and I always carry my own stove to cook chai in the night. In the morning time, I always go to tea stalls. Compared to the 21 countries I've been, India is the country where tea is most popular. At tea stalls, I see only average people. Rich people go to hotels to have chai.
So I prefer cooked tea to tea with a tea bag. I can't start my day without a cup of tea in the morning. In fact, I have at least 2, very often 4. You see, if you go to what you call a chai wala, he'll cook it with dust because that is the cheapest that he can get. So his profit is more.
So you don't go to a chai wala?
Oh yes, I do.
You do?
Oh, very often, but not necessarily in Simla. But let's say I'm driving,
yes,
and I want a cup of tea. I have to stop at a chai wala. I think I must have been about 14 or 15 when I started drinking tea. My mother was extremely fond of tea, and I think I picked up this habit from her. We always had tea in the morning, the bed tea. My daughter, she has it in a mug.
Oh.
She has cooked tea in a mug because I think she finds it easier to have it done that way. But when I go to her house, then she gives it to me on a tray like this. Because I like it like this. Good tea can only be made if it's absolutely piping hot boiling water. We warm the pot with boiling water, throw it out, put the tea leaf, whatever quantity is required, then pour boiling water into it, then cover it.
that let it stand for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but not more, so that the leaf, the water infuses the leaf, and that's why you stir it. But then drink it.
And one final question. What do you drink if you don't drink tea?
No, that's very difficult to answer.
So
लाई पहाड़ है कंकर शंकर बात है छोटी बड़ा पतंगर लाई पहाड़ है कंकर शंकर बात है छोटी बड़ा पतंगर इंडिया सर ये चीज धुरंधर इंडिया सर ये चीज धुरंधर रंग रंगीला बर जातंतर रंग रंगीला बर जातंतर
Ba-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-bow.